All right, everyone, welcome to our team call for the night. I'm so glad you are on. I hope you have had a wonderful Monday, and I have a couple of announcements, and we're going to get into the meat of the call. Hope to keep this at 30 minutes to respect your evenings. So 3 announcements. The first one is the To Be Mindset that launches May 2nd. Now, I know that, I don't know about you guys, but I feel a little bit behind the curve on this one. I felt the same about 80 Day Obsession. We jumped on the bandwagon late. But as I have been learning more about it, I'm falling more and more in love with the idea of this. While it is a separate program from Beachbody On Demand and the containers and all of that, if you listen to that video I posted in the team page today, I think you're going to hear like things that we get asked as coaches all the time, and like, how do you eat out and stay up, with your goals? What do you do when you've had a huge binge eating and you feel like you can't keep going? And it's just the way that the program sounds like it's laid out is fantastic. And so I'm hoping to kind of brainstorm through how maybe we can do that, whether we run a free group between now and the launch, and just to get up hype, kind of structure it like a loose challenge group. But pending details on that. But I definitely challenge and encourage you to look into the To Be Mindset if you don't know much about it already, just even from an educational standpoint, because you may have clients that are going to come to you wanting to know about it. Keep in mind it is separate from Beachbody On Demand. So it's a separate purchase, it's a separate portal, it's a separate nutrition system. Everything is different. And actually fitness is not a requirement. It's basically extra credit is what they call it. So this is for someone who either physically can't work out, or maybe hates working out like crazy, or maybe they're just not in a headspace to be able to tackle both. So I really like the way that this appeals to people, because some people can't relate to an 80-day hardcore fitness journey, and that's okay. So this kind of opens the doors for us to meet everyone where they're at. So I challenge you to research To Be Mindset. The second thing is the April Success Club prize is a freaking adorable, and we should all be working to get that shirt. So it is there's a shirt for the men and a tank top for the women, but the tank top is the cutest little style, and it says, it says sweat is the secret sauce, and then it says Team Beachbody. It's under the FAQ, and it is, you're gonna want it. It's so cute. So if you hit Success Club this month, it means you connect 3 people to challenge packs, and this can also be completion packs. So old customers who sign up with a new challenge pack and it's been outside 6 months. Then the last announcement is the Success Club party at Summit. Just make sure that if you're working towards hitting that goal to go to that party, this is the last month to qualify, so you have to have all your points in by the end of this month. So now that all of our announcements are done, I just wanted to get into the meat of the call. So as I was brainstorming ideas, I thought, well, we could do a power hour, but I really feel like in my own business, I've done a lot of reflecting on things that are important to me, things where I have been struggling, and just what I've learned in the last 2.5 years as a coach. And I just kind of wanted to share out of that overflow reflections that I have been kind of looking back and seeing areas of my business that I feel like I did really well, and then areas of my business where I've really struggled, and areas that I wish I had done differently. And it's because we have a variety of people on our team now, from baby coaches to people who have been around for a year plus. And so we have a wide range of everybody has their struggles, but they're all very, very different in this season. So I kind of wanted to share out of the things that I've been learning. So the first thing that I wanted to start out with something positive, so I felt good about myself. So 3 things that I feel like I did well. Like, looking back, what are the top 3 things that I felt like were the most important in my business that propelled my business forward? And the number 1 thing, hands down, was I had a consistent transformation every single month. no matter what. I was following a program. I was sharing an updated progress picture once a month, showing people that progress. Even if it was a tiny little bit of change, I was constantly showing that I was working towards my goals. And I think when you don't have an updated transformation within the last really 30 to 60 days, your relevance as a coach and your trustworthiness tends to go down. And that's the experience that I have had personally, that if the longer a stretch I go without an updated transformation, the less likely people are to say yes, because they don't necessarily believe in what I'm offering them if I'm not walking that walk. So that would be the hands down the first thing I feel like I did right. Even when I was pregnant, I was still sharing my transformation. It just looked a little different because it was my second pregnancy. So I was like, here's 16 weeks first time around, here's 16 weeks second time around, but I still found a way to share some form of a transformation constantly. And if you're in a maintenance season, because I've gotten this question, if you're in a maintenance season, what do you do? Hunt down old pictures of yourself and try to find new images to put with your current transformation. Always having something different to catch their eye. I really tried to not rotate the same transformation pictures, because people would just scroll right on past it if they'd seen it and not pay attention to my heart that I was sharing in that post. The second thing was, I was sharing vulnerably and showing up every single day on social media, no matter what, no matter how hard the season was. And this was really particularly hard to do after Henry, because emotionally I felt so empty with my postpartum depression and anxiety. And I didn't know how to share that in a way that didn't make me feel like I was being negative Nancy all the time, but I still continued to share every single day. Whether it was my health and fitness or not, I was sharing my life. I was sharing people to where they were connecting with me on a level outside of a workout post. And I feel like, especially in that pregnancy season and that postpartum journey, that's what carried my business into this season, because they watched that growth. They watched me struggle, they watched me tank, and they watched me hit bottom, and then they watched me literally crawl my way back out of that, and still am working through that today. So, but sharing vulnerably, I think it's really hard to branch out and hit those emotional triggers. But in my post, I'm always thinking about, who was Rachel 2 years ago? Who was Rachel 3 years ago, 5 years ago, pre-baby, pre-marriage, where Beachbody has changed me in a positive light, and sharing that side of me, even if it wasn't super comfortable. When I was the first time I came out about my binge eating and my going through the drive-thru without my husband knowing, that was really tough. And there are still some areas that I know that I feel God calling me to share, but I just am really not ready yet. But that's part of my story, and I'll get there. But I'm continuing to challenge myself and share that vulnerable side of me, because people can't relate to perfection and people who always eat gross meal prep food and never have pizza, and they just can't relate to that. So sharing every side, and how I drowned myself after Easter with all the candy was really helpful. Okay. So that one was, I guess I wrote down 4 things. Okay, well, we'll go with 4. Building with discount coaches and hitting Success Club every month. So Success Club has been my non-negotiable for a variety of reasons. You're going to hear that, especially if you're a new coach. Hit Success Club, hit Success Club. There's a lot of reasons why. One, that's guaranteed income that you're going to pay for your shakes every single month if you're hitting a Success Club. 2, you're earning yourself a spot on a free vacation. So for those that are hitting Success Club consistently, I know that Kayla, she earned a spot on the Mexico trip that's happening right now, because she had hit Success Club last year. And so she had earned a spot on that trip. And for me, I earned a spot and then was able to pay for it with my Success Club numbers. So you're working your business that way. But you're also, if you're building your team of discount coaches, I always focused on discount coaches. I never really focused on business builders, because I didn't feel like that felt natural to me. I wanted somebody to be a client, to be a challenger, to experience the heart of our culture, and then become a coach. And that was the process that felt good to me and still feels good to me. And so I recruited specifically as discount coaches, and every single person on this call was a discount coach first before they became a business builder. And so I really do believe that there's something there in that. The last thing is, Sarah, I promise this is not about you, is attending events. From day one in my business, I made sure that I was at every single event, every Super Saturday. I've not missed but one. And that was because I had bronchitis from where the last trimester of pregnancy. So I've only missed one in 2.5 years. How long have I been doing this? 1.5 years, 2 years as a coach. And I immediately went to my very first summit, which right out of the gate. I became a coach in January, a business builder coach in January, and then I went to that summit in July. And I made that decision 6 weeks before summit came, and I have never regretted that, because that gave me such fire and hope and joy for the future of my business, and it gave me something to work for. But and Sydney really hit it on the nail on the head in her post in the team page. Like, there's so many facets to why summit is so important, but going to every event that I could get my hands on. And the very first event that I went to, I did not go of my own free will. I went because Jen drugged me. Jen is my cousin and my upline coach. I went because Jen drugged me, but it was the best decision that I ever let her make for me because it changed the course of my business completely. Okay, so those are the things I felt like I was strong in. The things that I wish that I had done different, hands down, is finding a tracking system earlier on in my business that worked for me. It's for each coach, you're going to have to figure out what you do best with. Not everybody's going to do great with Team Z. Some people, it stresses them out. Not everybody's going to do great with an Excel spreadsheet, but intentionally every single month, finding something new until you find what works for you. Because I look back on that first year of my business, because it took me about a year to find a tracking system that I loved. And that first year was way more stressful than it needed to, because conversations kept falling through the cracks. My follow-ups were not good. I didn't know who I was talking to at any given point. I didn't feel like I had control over my clients and was efficiently meeting their needs like I had promised. And I was just way too frazzled. It was not necessary. So hands down, finding a tracking system that works for you is really important. So, and honestly, it may change in time. So Team Z for the longest time was my absolute jam, and I still absolutely love it, but I'm finding that I don't know if I can work Team Z in my pockets of my day right now. And so I'm in this same process all over again, trying to figure out what works for me. But I didn't start trying to look for a system until I had been a coach for about 6 to 8 months. And I wish that I had it, because what about all those people I talked to that first 6 to 8 months? I don't know where they're at. I don't know if I ever signed them or whatnot. Those are all people that I could have connected with somewhere. But so finding a tracking system. I would say that I focus too much on busy work and not action items. So busy work meaning commenting and scrolling on social media, or spending too much time on graphics, or trying to make my pictures look pretty and my wording perfect on a post, when really I just needed to get behind the scenes and take action and invite some people. And I look back, because it'll start popping up on Time Hop every now and then. I look back and I would spend forever crafting the most beautiful challenge group announcement. So fancy. Now I have Dawn to do it. And they look 10 times better. But I would spend all this time crafting a post for Facebook, and I look at it and it literally got like 4 likes. But then I would post a transformation post that was on the fly, and it would get like 20 likes or a couple comments. And people don't actually care about all that fussy stuff with the pictures and all that. So stop focusing on busy work and taking action in my business. So getting to the inviting first, because that's my frog. That's what I have to eat first in my business, or else it won't happen. And taking action in that area initially. And I didn't know. So I had been a coach for 3 months before I ever really knew what inviting was. My upline was not super strong, and I didn't have much guidance in my business. And so I learned a lot of things through trial and error. And inviting was one of those things that I didn't even know what inviting was. I participated in my first team cup, and Maria was like, she was our team cup captain, and she said, you need to send 25 invites a day. And I said, well, what's an invite? And she said, what? Who did I sign up on my team? But it was all a growing experience, and taking action in my business was essential, and something that I didn't do enough of early on. Not having a plan, this is something I still struggle with, not having a plan for groups and planning far enough out that I don't feel stressed. So that paired with running a free group more consistently, that kind of having a schedule and planning far enough out in advance, and actually physically running free groups. I look back, and there are very vivid times that my free groups, I would see the benefits of those 2 to 3 months later. And had I not had those, I wouldn't have hit Success Club that month. I didn't have that pool of trust to draw from. So free group is a really great resource in our businesses. And especially now that there are so many pre-written free groups in our team page, it's really easy to run one. But I have not, even to this day, I have not run enough free groups in my business. And that's something that I'm going to work to change. Now, the 3 things that I am personally struggling with right now. So, and this is just to be totally transparent with you guys. I want you to know, like, I'm in the trenches with you in this season, working through figuring out what is going to work for me and my business, just like I'm trying to help you guys do the same thing. And again, it takes trial and error. And so for me, being organized in my life right now is absolute chaos with 2 children and trying to run a business and a household and stay in shape and eat right and not eat my weight in cheese fries. And it's hard. Being organized in my business is really difficult for me right now, and something that I'm extremely struggling with. Like, I have like random notepads and sticky notes everywhere, and my system is not working. So I'm being organized, and knowing that line of growing my own business and being team focused, there comes a point, and you guys will realize this as you head into your leadership roles with your own teams, is that you want to guide and lead your teams and be there every step of the way, but you cannot neglect your own business in doing so. So I still have to lead by example and be still adding to my team and still growing my team underneath you and still working my business in addition to helping you work yours. And I feel like sometimes at the end of the day, if I only have 20 minutes, hands down, you guys get that 20 minutes every single time. And I wouldn't trade that, but I have to make sure I'm still growing my business too, and not let that slack in the process. Staying connected with my clients. I don't have a good system with that right now. Team Z was what kept me going, and right now my follow-up is at 350. I want to die. But that's what kept me on track with everybody. But there's got to be a better way of connecting with all my clients. The problem I'm finding is that some of them want to be talked to, and some of them don't want to be talked to, and some want to be talked to 1 month, and then some don't want to be talked to the next month, or they start ignoring me. And that dance drives me insane. But I have to find a better system, because I feel like I'm not as involved as I would want to be. And maybe that's just a control freak in me, but I'm not as involved as I would want to be with my clients right now. Now, I'm a message away, and most of them blow up my message box all the time, but still having a system, key, getting organized is important. So my 3 goals, and this is just to show you, like, okay, you recognized where you're struggling in your business. So now where do you go from here? What are your next steps? So for me, my next steps are to be intentional and create a daily schedule. So I need to sit down and look at my day, realize it's going to change, but dedicate the little pockets and say, okay, while Aiden's eating breakfast, I'm going to expand my network by 15 people, and not just sit there and watch Insta stories for 3 minutes when I could take 3 minutes to build my network. You know, it's being intentional with that 3-minute pocket. As silly as that sounds, we all have a ton of time during the day to do the things that we want to do for our business. It's just mentally being aware of that time. And it's been a lot harder because my brain feels more scattered with 2 kids. So create creating a daily schedule and finding my own groove and my own workflow now with 2 kids. The reality is in this season, I don't have the time that I did have 5 months ago, and that's okay. You know, in this season, that is what it is, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But being present and aware that, okay, I have 5 minutes. What do I do with this 5 minutes? And not just let that 5 minutes pass and spend it. Insta stories is like my hobby. Spend it watching Insta stories. So catch up on Team Z. That's my second goal. So I have got to get my life together and catch up on Team Z. So that's goal number 2. So 3 ways that we as a team can take away from this and utilize it in our own businesses together. So I encourage you and challenge you, because you know, this is something that I have gut checked in my business on many, many occasions. So the summit that Country Heat released, I was actually in a really big rut in my fitness journey, and I did not have a real impressive couple of months of transformation because I was not eating right, just plain straight and honest. I was working out like a crazy person, but I was not eating as well as I could have been. And so I had to do that gut check and say, okay, I need to go all in with this program for 30 days because I need to show that it does work for my business. So being willing to, if you're struggling in your business, know that maybe it's a transformation issue. Maybe you need to look and see, do I have an updated transformation? Maybe I just haven't posted it, that kind of thing. But having that validity and that respect to your audience is really what's going to propel your business forward. I have also looked at my social media, and second trimester pregnancy with Henry, I went through a phase where I felt like I didn't have anything to give. I felt like what is anything that I'm posting mattered. And I felt like, who cares that my body aches? Who cares that I'm pregnant and working out? Like, do people really want to see my sweaty selfie again? And all those doubts, those self-limiting beliefs that you're not good enough, or people don't believe in you, or people don't care, or whatever that is, that negative talk that goes in your head, it really started to consume me in that second. I can remember that because I had a conversation with another coach in my network and in my elite group, and realizing that I had to assess how I was posting on social media, and make sure that I was hitting home to the things that I wanted to portray. Was I showing that I was living a healthy lifestyle? Yes. Was I sharing it in a way that would make someone else want to join? Maybe some days. Some days, maybe not so much. So I had to self-assess and say, okay, if I was somebody looking in, would I want to join her? Would I want to be a part of what she has going on? Am I positive? Am I uplifting? Do I bring something to the table? Am I real? Do I share when things get hard? Do I share when I eat that donut? Do I share? Yes, on Insta stories. Do I share these things that make me real and relatable, and not this level of fitness that people can't relate to? So taking that look at your social media and saying, or on the flip side of things, am I vomiting beach body? All I'm doing posting, if within 2-3 scrolls, if I can't find a single post about my life outside of Beachbody, there's a real problem. And people aren't going to emotionally connect with you if they're not emotionally invested in your life, because that's who they want. They want you. They don't want 80 Day Obsession. They want Cindy. They want Carla. They want Kayla, Amanda, Sarah. Like, that's why they're connecting, because they want you, not Beachbody. Oh, shoot, my phone just died. Hold on. Okay. So, last thing, being willing to try new things. So if your business is struggling or you don't quite know where to take action, being willing to try things that you haven't tried in the past. Maybe that's running and I come back to that a couple times, running a free group, because that provides something to your network that requires no joining. People don't have to pay anything. They don't have to give you a credit card. It's just you extending value, and trying those new things and knowing that, you know what, it might be a flop. And most of my early months in coaching, those free groups that I run, they were a flop, but it was a learning experience and a growing experience. So being willing to try new things, whether that's groups, or maybe you're struggling with your social media being quote unquote dead on, let's say you have Facebook and your social media is dead on Facebook and you don't feel like you're getting the interaction and the engagement that you used to get, maybe switching platforms or trying a different way of posting or different images, or finding a different way of sharing that side of you. Insta stories is a great option. Instagram. There are other different platforms you could try. Maybe you could do an email newsletter. I'm not pro at that, so I wouldn't really know how to guide you in that. But realizing that there are multiple facets to how you can grow your business. And also, are you continually growing your network? Because if you have the same set of eyes that have been on you for the last 6 months and you haven't grown it, then those same set of eyes aren't really interested in joining you, then you're going to run into a dead end and run into a wall with your business. So hopefully that was not a like, you guys are doing this wrong. This was like me reflecting on my coaching business and where things have taken me and areas that I have struggled with and areas that I'm coming out of and all of that. And I think even though I know that I probably fail you guys as a leader more often than I would like to even admit, my promise has always been that I'm going to keep trying to get better and try to help fill those shoes that you need. And that's only going to happen through trial and error as a leader too. So I think sharing these reflections and sharing this is what has and hasn't gone well in my business, you take it with a grain of salt, apply what you do when you don't want to apply, and just use it as, hey, it's okay to self-reflect in your business and realize what you might be doing well and what you might be struggling with, and then reaching out for a one-on-one if you need help beyond that point. So that's all I've got for you today. I stuck on time. So is there any questions, feedback, comments? Rachel, you're terrible. Anything like that on here? We have some sleepy faces tonight. Everybody's good. Okay, if you have anything that you want to say and maybe not on the team call, hey Mason, not on the team call and you want to private message me, please feel free to do so. So I was just thinking about some things that I have been kind of working through and processing through and wanted to share that. Next week, as of right now, we're going to do a live power hour together. So my challenge to you in this next week, here's your assignment, is to figure out what you're inviting to next. So Wheel of Fitness is over. And so now we're kind of in that season, okay, what do we invite to? So this would be a great opportunity to think about running a free group, or maybe think about your next challenge. I'm going to start posting details about our next team challenge. We're not going to start promoting it anytime soon or anything like that, but just hashing out the details of that partner challenge. I don't think that there will be a giveaway pot. Maybe we'll do a month where we don't do a giveaway pot, so people don't have to contribute $10 again, and we'll just do it as an accountability group. But we'll do some messages and all that about that. So unless anybody has any feedback, and Amanda's going to lead a team call for us at some point in the coming weeks too. So all right, well, we're good to go. I thank y'all for getting on the call, and I'll post a recording later on the team page. So if you need me, I'm just a message away. Bye, guys.